What is up, guys? Maniac here, and today I figured I'd go over a build that I thought I uploaded, but I guess not. So we're gonna do it anyways, and if I did upload it, then I have no idea, no way of knowing. So this is, if you guys remember me talking about during my Disturbing Movies collection, I talked about how I was gonna do a survival mode for a survival mode character for each of the 4 factions, and then just leave it. This is the one I started off with. Now, before we go any further, I know there's that one guy in the comments that is always in all of my freaking comments talking about how I should be a Brotherhood of Steel person. So here, calling out to you, you in particular, you know who you are, because I made a video about you. I don't have any ideas for a Brotherhood of Steel character, so I want you to tell me an idea. It can be anything. It's a Brotherhood of Steel character. I have the Railroad done with. That's what this video is. And I'm working on the Minuteman character. I have somewhat of an idea for the Institute, but I want you in particular to tell me what my Brotherhood of Steel survival mode character should be, and I'll make it work. I don't know how, but I'll make it work. So yeah, with that being said, now that obvious comment is out of the way, let's start with the other obvious comment. Yes, this is a Railroad character. I love the Railroad. It's my favorite. They're like my favorite faction, and so I figured with that, this could be like this. Plus, this is the one I already did. Because before, whenever I first beat survival mode, I did the peaceful ending, which is where you have to destroy the Institute with the Minutemen, but you bring peace amongst the Commonwealth, meaning the Brotherhood of Steel don't kill the Railroad, all that stuff. Everyone is alive except the Institute, and you are friendly with everyone. The reason I did that was for vertibird usage, mostly. But I decided to to kind of make the challenge a bit more difficult, and just side with the Railroad, because the Brotherhood of Steel are a bit challenging, but they weren't as challenging as I thought they were going to be, probably because I just hard leveled until I was level 80 and then just finished the game. Probably shouldn't have done that, but here we are. So this is my Railroad character. Oh wait, hold on. There we go. I didn't have to put in my pin or whatnot. So, with that being said, I'm going to go over the special stats for this character, the weapon I used, all of that stuff. And yeah, now my outfit on my current character is different from what I have listed here. The reason being, I decided to go heavy on that character. So, yeah, there are also some perks I added that are not in this list, that I feel like you can use, and I'll explain my reasoning behind it. So, but first, we're going to go over the special stats. Now, this is also a survival sniper, so you don't have to use this as a sort of, like, Railroad specific character, but if you are looking for a sort of build to use for like each of the different factions for survival mode, this is the one for the Railroad. Alright. So yeah, the special stats for this are 5 strength, 5 perception, 1 endurance, 3 charisma, 5 intelligence, 4 agility, and 5 luck. This is a very well-rounded character. But don't worry, this will change here in a moment. You want to put the book in Sanctuary in agility, basically, so now it's going to be 5, 5, 1, 3, 5, 5, 5. Don't worry, I'm getting to it. Don't worry, I'm getting to the obvious part. This is a sniper build. Why the 5 perception? I'm going to tell you why, because it is to deal with ammunition. Or carry weight. Now, if carry weight isn't that much of a concern for you, you can obviously allocate this however you want. It is a sniper character, so I will advise either perception, luck, or agility, because this is a VAT sniper character. This is what I recommend. Obviously, the faction is going to be the Railroad, because this is my Railroad character. For some of you guys who don't know what I mean by a railroad character, it's just a character that primarily sides with the railroad, as in like they did like this is like a very railroad heavy character. So if you do want to roleplay this character, you gotta do all the railroad perks. Don't worry, I'll have some for the Minutemen and the Brotherhood of Steel and the Institute. I'm getting to it. Mostly the Minutemen right now. That's the one I'm working towards. So yeah. So here's how I advise you use this character wisely. You XP grind the shit out of this character. Use as much of the intelligence stuff as you can. Use the Ushanka hat. Use the Mentats. Use whatever you can to make sure that you get the best out of this character. Now, the one stuff I do recommend you do is, and I'll explain how to take full advantage of this character nicely. How I do it is, so to make use of this character, you want to start off by making sure that you get the correct special stats. So, well, not the correct special stats, as if there's a wrong way to it. But for this one, you're going to want to do put 4 points into perception, 2 points into agility, making it 7, add 1 strength point and 1 luck point. This can get you started with the basic necessities, such as some of the sniper. The +2 to perception can make it to where you have, the +4 to perception makes it to where you have sniper and penetrator. Plus, if you get the bobblehead, you'll have easy access to concentrated fire if that's something that you want to do. This is a fast sniper, so that's something you should have. The 2 agility points get you ninja at level 7. Because 5 + 2 is 7. That's how this whole thing works. So this isn't to like get you all the necessary perks, because obviously we're adding 1 point into luck, meaning that you're gonna end up, and you can do this in any order. You don't have to. If you want my advice, is just make sure that you get the 4 perception points, 2 agility points, and then the 1 to strength and luck. So that way you can start allocating those points into the perks that you want to make this character work. And then you're gonna want to add +1 to strength to get heavy back. Yes, or the strong back, whatever. And a +1 to luck can get you, I think, better criticals. Hold on. Yeah, that sounds about right. 7, 8, 9. Yes. It'll get you better criticals, which is it's either better criticals or critical baker, one of those two. And it's a really great start to at least have. Now, to make full use of this character, like, I'm going to do 2 separate ones. If carry weight is a big concern for you, like oh, I have to have the carry weight, then my advice is do not get the bobbleheads until you reach level 10 on the specific special stats. So don't get the bobblehead until you rank 10, until you have a strength of 10 to make it 11. The ones that you don't have to do it with all of the necessary perks, at least do it for if carry weight is as much of a concern for you, then at least do it on strength. You can do it on perception. It is right there though, so I'll leave that much up to you. Intelligence, agility. Those are at least the 3 or 4 if you decide to do the perception one that I at least advise you do. But if carry weight isn't much of a concern to you, then you can get to level 10 on perception, agility, and intelligence, and then get the bobblehead from there. Luck isn't that much of a concern. I've managed to breeze by without the luck of 10 thing. I'm at like a luck of 9, and it is fine for me. But yeah, so now and don't worry, I'll put all of this in the description. So if you guys do want to check out the list of what I have, you can do so. So now we're getting on to the actual perks that I use. Obviously, Ninja, Mr. Sandman, Sneak, and Rifleman, Gun Nut, all that stuff. Pretty straightforward. I assume that I don't need to explain them all because you're playing a survival mode character. You should know what these are by now, hopefully. But now we are starting off with Gun Nut. Gun Nut is very much an essential thing, perk. Reason being is that it's kind of hit or miss with scrounging up the stuff that you need, especially with the combat rifle. To me, I've noticed that like silencers for combat rifles start to appear like long after you're able to get the 5th rank or the 4th rank of Gun Nut. So just get the Gun Nut perk and you should be fine. Lone Wanderer. Lone Wanderer is very much essential to a survival mode character. You are taking more damage, but you are basically a sponge with these characters. So, especially given the fact that you have an endurance of 1, having Lone Wanderer is gonna help out greatly in this case. So yeah, Lone Wanderer makes it to where you take less damage, you carry more, you can do more damage by level 3, and then by level 4 you have more action points, which for a stealth sniper character is very much important to have. Next we have Strongback. Again, this is a personal one of mine. Carry weight is very much a big concern for me. Especially given the weapons I use a Gauss rifle, all that stuff, the ammunition can be very heavy. So personally for me, having Strongback is very important for me. Cap Collector, 2 ranks. Now, this is one that I actually don't have currently on my character. Reason being that the reason why I had Cap Collector was to make it to where weapons, or do I? I think I know. Especially getting Overseer's Guardian, that can be a hefty price. So having something like that is very useful to have. So having something like Cap Collector, you can manage, just get a shit ton of pre-war money. You should be fine. Get a bunch of caps, you should be fine. And yeah, so so Cap Collector makes it to where money is cheaper. Another thing you can do is use Tales of a Junktown Jerky Vendor. That is tough for me to say. That also lowers the pricing by a bit. I think it's 5% per each rank, meaning that you get or is it 1? I think it's either 5, 3, or 1%. More likely it's probably 3%. And yeah, next is Armorer. We're going to be using Ballistic Weave for this character. Again, I don't have Armorer, but you can if you want to. Another thing you can do to make this character just a little bit better is use Armorer. Or if you are planning on doing some settlements, for some reason you're a railroad character, but maybe that's something you want. Armorer can help out with making sure, settlers are stacked. I was gonna say something about Automatron, but I don't use it. But yeah, a lot of the stuff you'll notice I actually don't have on my character. Reason being, I just don't really see. I just don't use it for whatever reason. Another one I use but not maxed out because it was mostly for my Gauss rifle is Science. Now you just need Science rank 3 for the Gauss rifle. You don't need rank 4. But if you are using the Radium rifle, which I have recommended here, you are going to need 4. You are going to need the 4 ranks to get the max or to get the best out of your gun. Next is Concentrated Fire. This is one of the more essential perks to have for a VAT sniper character. Concentrated Fire makes it to where you get an increase of accuracy in VATS per VATS usage. Or not VATS usage, per AP cost. So it goes up by, I think, 10%, then 15%, and I think by 20%. I don't really know, but you do get in VATS increase in VATS per AP usage. Come on. Oh, great, I have to do this. So it's a pretty useful one and a pretty, needed, necessary one to have for, to me at least, for a VATS character. Next is Sniper, a pretty standard one. This just adds all the stuff needed for a sniper character, such as you hold your breath a bit longer. For non-automatic characters, enemies can get knocked down. and then you have an increase VATS hit chance in VATS with headshots. So something like that is pretty useful to have. Penetrator is one that I put on here, but you don't have to have, because Penetrator is the dumbest, is not really that useful. At least I don't know like the way to go at it, because it's just so tricky. Penetrator makes it to where you can aim at enemies through walls. I think if you are going to take advantage of Penetrator, make sure that you do have criticals lined up, because that is probably an issue with this perk. It sounds awesome because it sounds like you can shoot through walls, but the walls you can shoot through are very limited. So you can't shoot through like brick walls. I don't know how the hell they managed to decide what is a brick wall in this game. But goddamn it, if you are shooting at an enemy that's sitting behind a brick wall, good luck trying to get that thing to work. So use criticals for it. Better criticals increases the critical damage by 1.5 by rank 1, and then by 2 times in rank 2, and then by 2.5 in rank 3, around that. Critical Banker makes it to where you can store up more criticals, so that and by rank 4 you get about 4 critical storage plus the additional like critical bar, meaning you can hold up to 5 criticals at once. I will show you where this is useful, trust me. Grim Reaper Sprint is one, again, I don't have on my character. The reason being I plan on just using the handmade rifle that Mags Black gives you whenever you side with the Disciples. However, I've noticed that like over time I'm relying on my Gauss rifle because the enemies do a lot more damage and they take a lot more damage. What the fuck happened here? So yeah, I've noticed that like over time, the handmade rifle becomes very tricky to use. So I would definitely advise that if you do plan on using a handmade rifle, just make sure you have a backup ready, because it's not as fun as I thought it would be. Next is 4-leaf Clover. This makes it to where you have an increase in crit, or you have a chance to receive a critical. I forgot to mention Grim Reaper Sprint makes it to where you have a chance to refill your action points. So yeah. Having 4-leaf Clover is very essential. Like I mentioned before, you have better criticals and critical bankers, so you're going to need as much criticals as you can, and something like this is very helpful to have. Next is Action Boy / Girl, whichever way you decide to play. This makes it to where you have an increase in action point refresh speed, and given the fact that there are certain types of like diseases in survival mode that makes it to where you're, or sort of like debuffs that make it to where your action point refresh speed is lowered by either 5% or 50%. Having something like this can easily negate that if that's something you want. Plus, if you have, I think, Far Harbor, and you have the 3rd rank of Action Boy, that's a 75% increase in your action point speed, which means given the fact that if you do have the minus 50% AP refresh speed, you're looking at about a 25% increase in action point refresh, which is about the same speed as the level 1. So you do have that going for you, and it is something I highly advise. Now there is another one I do use, and that is Quick Hands. Quick Hands makes it to where you do more damage to your 2nd target and more, and then by rank 3 it's your 3rd target, and then by your 4th rank and higher, or your 4th target and higher, you do automatic criticals. Now this is something that's mostly used for like pistols and all that stuff. I do understand that, but if you do have like a VATS enhanced gun, I do have a VATS enhanced Gauss rifle, and let me tell you, that shit is fun to have. But weapons that have like short AP costs, like the Overseer's Guardian, that is something that you could easily use. Well, if you use like a VATS enhanced problem solver, or not a problem solver, the VATS enhanced handmade rifle, radical, or the radium rifle, or Gauss rifle, like I do. Quick Hands isn't one that you don't. Oh, no. What am I thinking of? Gun Fu. Gun Fu is the one I was thinking of. If you do have Gun Fu, something like that is pretty. You don't have to have it. I have it because over time, as you level up And if you do have the 11 action or the 11 agility like I recommend, over time you're plus if you use like agility armor, drink stuff that increases your agility, you're gonna have a lot of action points to deal with. So having something like that is very useful to have, very fun. So yeah, if you do want gun fu, I do advise you use that. Just be careful as to what guns you are using, and make sure that if you are not using, and if you are using a weapon that does, if you do have a weapon that increases or kind of refills your action points upon a critical, and if you do have the rank, the third rank of it, then use that gun. That'll be very helpful to have. Next, it's been a while since I've done this stuff. So now we are moving on to gear. Also, check like I said, check the description. If there's any sort of like perks I missed on my character, I'll put a link in the description, or I'll put it down below, as well as like what ranks I have for it. But yeah, so now we are moving on to gear. Gear is very important. Gear helps you survive. So early on, I recommend pipe weapons and a hunting rifle. Reason being is that you're gonna need to take advantage of these certain weapons and ammunition that you have. So something like that is very useful to have. And then leather armor. Sorry, still coming off of a cold. So yeah, having leather armor is very useful to have, at least early on. You can pair it with however you want, whatever helps you take advantage of your sniper character, something like that is very useful to have. And yeah, and then your endgame gear is going to be, for weapons, the Overseer's Guardian. I used the Problem Solver, but then once I finished the Nuka World DLC, signing with the Disciples, I ended up with the handmade rifle that Max Black gives you. But I do have the Problem Solver here. Radical Conversion. Radical Conversion makes it to where you have ignore the energy resistance and the damage resistance of a target by 30%. Having something like Radical Conversion is, or as I wrote, Coversion. Radical Conversion is a pretty neat thing to have, because a lot of these enemies are going to be like armored up. So if you want to have, if you do want to have like a backup plan, like, oh, how do I deal with this armor? There you go. And then the Gauss rifle. Like I mentioned before, the Gauss rifle is something I'm pretty reliant on, given the fact that I've like later on down the road. Wait, is it supposed to look like that? I'll have to. Yeah. Sorry, I looked at my tattoo. Given the fact that a lot of these enemies are going to be a lot more harder, especially as you keep progressing, like in level and whatnot, having your Gauss rifle, I've noticed, is very useful. Now, for legendary weapons, I did take a book out of Vinylic Puma, and I do recommend either the VATS Enhanced or the 2-shot, or no, not the 2-shot, the Instigating. I know that the Overseer's Guardian is a 2-shot, but if you do want the Instigating version of these weapons, I advise that. For some of you guys who don't know, the Instigating legendary effect makes it to where you do double damage. You do increased damage if they are at full health. I think it's twice the amount of damage. So something like this would be very useful to have. Now, as for armor, you're going to want the Ballistic Weave Faded Trench Coat. Reason being that it adds 2 to your perception, and given the fact that this is a VATS heavy sniper character, something like this is pretty useful to have. And then sunglasses for that extra perception. Now, if you do want to roleplay this character, what you can do is, if you have the Legend of the Harbor, if you do have the Far Harbor DLC, you can use the Legends of the Harbor outfit. It does give you +2 to perception. Also, if you do want to travel around Far Harbor like that, you can. That's something that I think would be really fun. And you can use the Radiant Rifle, or you can use the lever action rifle, either old reliable or just a standard one. That is up to you. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I know this is a mess of a video. This is a mess of a build at that, but this is what I'm using for my sniper character. Let me know in the comment section what you guys thought, where you guys would approve, and honestly, let me know what I did wrong, because I'm not really good at this sort of build. And yes, aside from the fact that this is a railroad build, if you made this sort of build, what would you change? Let me know in the comment section. With that being said, hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment down below, especially you, of what type of build should I make for the Brotherhood of Steel or the Institute. I am working on a Minuteman character right now. This one's going to be somewhat heavy. I do want to try and utilize as much of the like attack stuff as possible, so like heavy weapons, big leagues, Iron Fist, Commando, all that stuff. Right now this is going to be a pistol character, but I'm not really sure if I want to add big leagues to it. So let me know in the comment section, how do you think should I go at this? I'd love to hear from you guys. And if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you do subscribe, hit that bell notification to be notified when I upload, because I do not have a schedule. And with that being said, Loser Maniac out.